Hello, Quilt Artisans. My name is Shonda, and welcome to my channel Under the Needle. So I'm here with my Thankful Thursday, but it's late. It's on Saturday. And part of the reason why it's late is because of one of the reasons why I'm thankful. I am thankful for family. I am thankful for family. Um, so this week, my fiance, I needed to get some flooring. We're doing some redecorating, some remodeling in the house. And one of the things that we're doing is putting flooring in the living room. Now, the particular flooring that I chose is a herringbone style. I'm not sure if you guys know what that is. I will show you what herringbone flooring is in case you are not familiar. This is it. This is my floor. So this particular pattern was something that my fiance had never done. He's done flooring before. He's never done anything like this before. And so he was a little bit intimidated by doing it by himself. And so one of his uncles, well, technically it's his cousin, but their age difference makes him call him an uncle. Even though they're technically cousins, he calls him his uncle because their age difference is like 26 years. They're like 26 years apart. So even though it's technically his cousin, he views him as an uncle. And so he was like, hey, I'm going to need some help with this. And he was really afraid to do it by himself. So he wanted some help. And so he came up here and helped us put the flooring down. And so on Thursday, my fiance had to go to work. And so I didn't want him to just be, because he's a 59-year-old man and he's on his knees doing my floor. So I didn't want him to be alone. So I kind of kept him company all day. Like we played music and we chatted and we talked and just to kind of just to keep him company since he was doing such a big favor for us. And so I didn't get a chance to make a video because that was how I spent my Thursday. And then Friday was my aunt's birthday. And so after work, I didn't have to, but yes, I had to. Friday after work, I thought I was going to be able to make this video on Friday after work. But one of my cousins, who's really close with my aunt, decided that she wanted to throw her a little kind of get together. And it was all last minute. And so right after work, I had to get dressed and we went there for that. So I was not able to make this video. But I just really enjoyed that time. Like I really enjoyed that time. So just with, my fiance's uncle up here and, hanging out with him and, taking care of him while he was here because he was helping. Like it just really kind of fed my spirit a bit. And then, my aunt's birthday, even though I was not anticipating going out Friday because I'm an older person. I'm 46. I kind of just like to be home. I'm a homebody. I like to be home. And we were supposed to have plans today. And then we have had so many plans. We've been so busy. Like the past 3 weekends, we've had things going on. And the next 2 weekends after now, we have things going on. And so for me, I'm the kind of person where I need alone time to replenish. And so to be busy weekend after weekend after weekend where I'm surrounded by other people. It's not like, oh, I'm busy because I have to do stuff for me or I have to do stuff for the house or I have to do stuff for my kids. But to have to go out and socialize is kind of tough for me. Like to do that weekend after weekend after weekend because I'm basically a solitary person. And so it was it takes a lot. It takes a lot out of me to be around other people. It really does. It takes a lot out of me. But even with that, I enjoyed my fiance's uncle being here. Um, we had a good time. Um, I enjoyed going out last night and celebrating my aunt's birthday with her. Um, so even though initially it was like, I just want to be home for the weekend. I just want to be home. Um, it still made me feel good to go out and spend that time with her. We played some jumbo Jenga, we listened to some music, we had some good conversations, and it was just really, really, really a good time. So I am thankful for family. Um, Now, as far as projects, I didn't do a whole lot of sewing because I was away last weekend. Saturday and Sunday, I was gone. So that didn't happen. Um, the frog is still in here. If you hear that clicking noise, that's the frog. That's I still don't know where it is. I'm guessing that's frog. Um, so I didn't get to do a whole lot of sewing. The only thing that I got to work on was the charade quilt along that I was working because I really wanted to go ahead and get that sewn together, which I did, and I'm pretty pleased with it. I don't know why. I don't know why the frog wants to make all this noise right now because he doesn't make noise all day. He's been down here for about 2 weeks. I've been hearing him for about 2 weeks, and sometimes he'll be quiet all day and I don't hear anything. And then all of a sudden he'll just, decide to make some noise randomly. And apparently that time is now. But the only thing I really got to work on was the charade quilt along. I had gotten all the blocks done and I had gotten some of the rows done and I wanted to finish getting the rows together. And I did finish that. And I have to say, I am really over the moon about this quilt and how it's turning out. I'm going to show you the quilt top. I'm loving it. Let's see here. I'm just gonna kind of give a glimpse. This is the quilt. This is the quilt top. This is what it looks like. And I have to say, like, this particular quilt, the way that it was supposed to be together, the way that the quilt designer intended for this to be put together was that you put like colors together and then you have a gradient effect. So either you start from the center and you put all your light colors in the center and you slowly build out the different colors outside, or you can kind of go from left to right, or right, like do it on a diagonal or something like that, or do it from like kind of top to bottom. But it's really designed to be a controlled improv. I didn't do that because I just decided that I wanted this to be easy. And the easiest thing to do was just to jumble everything up and sew it together in random order. Now, the only thing that I did do with this quilt was I chose to make two distinct blocks. The first block is this, let's see, because it's going to be kind of difficult to see it. I made this distinct block that has a solid 6.5 inch piece here, a solid piece here, and then this piece here in the middle that has one color in the middle and two colors on each side, and then this strip here that has a larger piece, a smaller piece, and then a medium piece. So this is the bigger piece. This is the second largest piece. This is the third largest piece. And I decided to orient it in exactly this way. So all of the blocks that I made So half the blocks that I made were identical to this. And then I made a second block. Okay, let's get this here. Where we have this piece here that has a longer piece with two smaller pieces on each side, on either side, and then the single stripe in the middle, and then this piece here that has the larger piece, then the smaller piece, then the medium piece. And then those were the two distinct blocks that I made. And then I chose to take the first block that I showed you and rotate that for row 1, and then take the second block and rotate that for row 2, and then take the first block and rotate that for row 3. And so it kind of looks like, because it's really difficult to find the block, the way that this is sewn together, finding the block is difficult. So it actually just kind of looks like, I just had all these tiny pieces and just sewed them together randomly. And it's difficult sometimes to kind of spot the block because I did two specific blocks and the way that they're rotated. It's just really difficult to see kind of where the block is. And I think that's what I love most about this quilt, is because you can't see the block. I mean, I showed you the two blocks, but when you look at this quilt, like at a glance, trying to find that is not easy because the way that I chose to stagger them and rotate them. So I'm loving this. So I'm really excited about trying to get this done. I showed you guys last week that I had already chosen my backing. If you missed that, this is the backing and this is the quilt. So when you see it's like all the same colors, it just looks like a crayon box. And so I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty pleased with it. So I'm not sure if I'm going to go ahead and layer and go ahead and get this basted and start the quilting, or if I'm going to do more piecing on another project. That I'm not certain. Basting is not my favorite, but I might go ahead and do the basting simply because I showed you guys the floors that are in the house. And so the furniture is not here right now. So I have a whole big floor in my living room that is empty. And so it'll be kind of easier to go ahead and just baste it on that floor, because where I'm sewing right now, I don't have an empty space right now that's large enough to lay this out. But so I think I might go ahead and get it basted. And if I baste it, I'm at least going to do some like initial quilting to keep it together. So even if I decide not to finish the quilting, I think I'm going to at least, I think I might at least do the basting. Also, they did release, I don't know if you guys saw this, but the April Sew Sampler started a new sew along, right? Because they do a quilt along that starts every April. And it's kind of like, it's not a mystery, but you don't know what the finished quilt is going to look like because you don't know what all the blocks are going to look like, and you don't know what the finishing pattern is going to look like. But it's not a true mystery, and like when you do the Cotton Cuts puzzle mystery quilt where you have no idea, or even if you do a Bonnie Hunter quilt, like you don't, until you get to like the end of it, you don't even know what your blocks are going to look like, because you're just putting together block components and you don't know what your whole block is even going to look like. So it's not a true mystery quilt in that, because you know what each block looks like. But I did go ahead and get the full fabric requirements, and it requires 9 fat quarters and 1 5/8 yards of background. And then for the finishing, you need 2 yards of setting, which tells me that this might be some type of on point quilt. But you need 2 yards of setting fabric, and then you need a yard of accent. So I I still think that I really want to do this quilt, and I'm not the only one. I did watch Fat Quarter Shop's Friday live stream. And in the Friday live stream, they mentioned that last year they had bought, all the kits for this sew along. And it didn't sell very well, and they had a lot left over, and they still have a lot left over. But for this particular sew along, it's the opposite. They bought less because of what happened last year, but then it ended up being remarkably popular. And so now they're like 75% sold out. Now, I had no intention of buying the kit because although I really like this block, I don't really like this fabric. So I don't want to do that. So I had no intention of buying a kit. I wanted to do it from my stash because I have a ton of stash. And right now, I haven't done any pressing. I haven't done any cutting. But right now, I have this 15-piece bundle from Clothworks that I've had for some time. And so I've decided I think I might want to use this because even though we only need 9 fat quarters, I might want a little bit more variety. And then I also like to piece my backings. So if I have leftover fat quarters or leftover fabric, then I can always use that in my backing. So I don't really mind. So I decided I didn't want to just start with 9 fat quarters. I wanted a little bit larger. So I knew I wanted at least a 12-piece bundle, but this 15-piece bundle worked out really well because I was able to pull out these 2 super light ones that won't have a whole lot of contrast because I don't want a scrappy background. I don't really like scrappy backgrounds. I don't mind scrappy quilts, but I don't like scrappy prints and scrappy backgrounds. I rather have one cohesive background. And initially, I was going to use a pink grunge. But if I used the pink grunge, I would have had to remove these 2 fat quarters from the block. And I would just be able to use these. And so removing 4 would leave me with 11. That's still a lot of fat quarters to choose from. But I decided because I didn't quite know. Anyway, I decided after really kind of going back and forth on the background, I just decided to make my life easier and go with a white tone on tone. So you can't, you can see now, there's like, it's printed. They're like circles. So some of the dots are not filled in, some of the dots are filled in, and they're dots of different sizes. So I decided that I want to use this. I wanted something where I had enough to where I could do the fabric, the backgrounds for the blocks, and I would have enough background for the setting. So there's that. I decided I wanted to all be the same. So right now, this is what I'm thinking. I might change my mind before I start pressing and cutting, but right now this is what I've chosen for this block here. I haven't decided which 3 fat quarters I want to use for the 3 main prints, the red, and then this center pink, and then this kind of plaid. I haven't decided, or not plaid, but kind of gingham. I haven't decided which 3 fat quarters I want to use because right now it's still too early. I haven't even fully committed to this bundle. So if I decide to fully commit to this bundle, that'll probably happen this week. And if I fully commit, I'll probably go ahead and get everything pressed, or at least the 3 fat quarters that I need for this block. I'll get those pressed, cut, and maybe start that sewing. So pretty excited about it. Pretty excited about this. I don't know why I'm drawn to this block, but apparently I'm not the only one. Apparently there's quite a few of us that weren't really in love with last year, but are in love with this year, as demonstrated by the sales. And who knows? It might just be that there's 75%. It could be the same number of people, but maybe just because they bought less, it's 75% sold out because they bought less. I don't know because I don't work there and she didn't specify. So, yeah, so this is what I've got going on right now. This is what I'm thinking about. This is what I'm doing. Pretty excited about it. Pretty excited. And yeah, yeah, yeah. So probably, yeah, if within the next, I don't know if it'll be by the next Thankful Thursday, but probably within the next 7 days, I'll decide yes or no. Am I going to do this so long? And if so, is this the bundle that I want to use? And if this is the bundle that I want to use, I'll probably go ahead, do the cutting, and get the first block made. Now, I have not worked on any other project. I've really just been, I haven't really had a lot of time to sew because I believe when I did this video last Thursday, I had half the row sewn together. So since then, from Thursday till now, all I've gotten done is the rest of the 6 rows and gotten the whole quilt top put together. So I haven't done a tremendous amount of sewing. Um, but I did do some sewing. I had certain days where I think Thursday I didn't sew a single stitch on Thursday. Um, and I think the other days this week that I did sew, it was pretty minimal. So yeah, not bad, not bad. I like what I got going on. I like the projects that I've got going on. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, so I don't know. I guess that's it for me. I guess that's it for me. I guess that's all I've got. And I'll see you guys next video.